Hello, my name is Pastor Kris Kollar. I'm the pastor of Pleasant Valley Lutheran Church near Malabar Farm and St. Paul Lutheran Church in Lucas, Ohio. Greetings. We are reading through the Bible with commentary. We have gone through 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, which are also referred to as the Torah, and they contain the early history of the Israelites and the law, which of course means love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. And it also means the 10 Commandments. And after that, it means a lot of minutia and small details, including not eating bacon. And then we get to the book of Joshua, which is more of a history. There's still some laws and things mixed in, but a lot more history. And it's about the Israelites finally entering the promised land, crossing through the Jordan, which we will read about probably tomorrow. But for today, we're getting ready to go in. So we're starting with Joshua, who has just taken over from Moses, who has gone and passed away, and now Joshua. Chapter 1. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord spoke to Joshua son of Nun, spelled N-U-N, Moses' assistant, saying, "My servant Moses is dead. Now proceed to cross the Jordan, you and all this people, into the land that I am giving to them, to the Israelites. Every place that the sole of your foot will tread upon, I have given to you, as I promised to Moses. From the wilderness and the Lebanon, as far as the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, to the great sea in the west, shall be your territory. No one shall be able to stand against you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not fail you or forsake you. Be strong and courageous, for you shall put this people in possession of the land that I swore to their ancestors to give them. Only be strong and very courageous, being careful to act in accordance with all the law that my servant Moses commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right hand or to the left, so that you may be successful wherever you go. This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth. You shall meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to act in accordance with all that is written in it. Then you shall make your way prosperous, and then you shall be successful. I hereby command you," and I believe God has said this 3 or 4 times already, "be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." So it begins with an exhortation from God to Joshua to be strong, to be courageous, to not be afraid or dismayed, to walk with God and to trust God, and to keep the law. Remember the law, read the law, and keep the law. Verse 10. Then Joshua commanded the officers of the people, "Pass through the camp, and command the people, prepare your provisions, for in 3 days you are to cross over the Jordan, to go in and to take possession of the land that the Lord your God gives you to possess." To the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, Joshua said, "Remember the word that Moses the servant of the Lord commanded you, saying, 'The Lord your God is providing you a place of rest, and will give you this land.'" So that was back when we read in Deuteronomy and also in Leviticus that when they got to the land east of the Jordan, they said, "Oh, this is a beautiful place for raising flocks, and we want to settle here." So they have settled in what was the land of the Amorites. But they have agreed that they will leave their sheep and their wives and their children behind, but they will be in the front of the fighting, and they will go with everybody into Israel. So Joshua is reminding them of that promise. Verse 14, "Your wives, your little ones, and your livestock shall remain in the land that Moses gave you beyond the Jordan. But all the warriors among you shall cross over armed before your kindred, and shall help them, until the Lord gives rest to your kindred as well as to you, and they too take possession of the land that the Lord your God is giving them. Then you shall return to your own land and take possession of it, the land that Moses the servant of the Lord gave you beyond the Jordan to the east." Verse 16, they answered Joshua, "All that you have commanded us we will do, and wherever you send us we will go. Just as we obeyed Moses in all things, so we will obey you. Only may the Lord your God be with you, as he was with Moses. Whoever rebels against your orders and disobeys your words, whatever you command, shall be put to death. Only be strong and courageous." So not only is God telling Joshua to be strong and courageous, so are the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. Chapter 2. Then Joshua, son of Nun, sent 2 men secretly from Shittim as spies, and Shittim means acacia, so apparently it's an area full of acacia trees, saying, "Go view the land, especially Jericho." So they went and entered the house of a prostitute whose name was Rahab, and spent the night there. And some people say, well, maybe she wasn't a prostitute, but this particular translation says prostitute. The king of Jericho was told, "Some Israelites have come here tonight to search out the land." Then the king of Jericho sent orders to Rahab, "Bring out the men who have come to you, who entered your house, for they have come only to search out the whole land." But the woman took the 2 men and hid them. Then she said, "True, the men came to me, but I didn't know where they came from. And when it was time to close the gate at dark, the men went out. Where the men went, I do not know. Pursue them quickly, for you can overtake them." She had, however, brought them up to the roof and hidden them with the stalks of flax that she had laid out on the roof. So roofs of houses in biblical times were flat, and they actually were an additional living space. So you had the downstairs area had the stable and the kitchen, which was right next to the chickens, so you can get some eggs right there. And then you went up 1 level, and there's a big room, the guest room, the main room. If you're a well-off family, you had a private room in the back for the owners, and if you were not, then you just had your main big room. And then there was the roof above that, which we read one of the random laws was you needed to put a parapet, a little railing around the edges of your roof so people wouldn't fall off. But the roof was another living space that you could go up, get away from the crowds, or in this case, lay out your flax to dry and to work with, big open space to work with. So she had stalks of flax, and she hid them under the stalks of flax. Verse 7, "So the men pursued them on the way to the Jordan as far as the fords. As soon as the pursuers had gone out, the gate was shut." Verse 8, "Before they went to sleep, she came up to them on the roof and said to the men, 'I know that the Lord has given you the land, and that dread of you has fallen on us, and that all the inhabitants of the land melt in fear before you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water in the Red Sea before you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to the 2 kings of the Amorites that were beyond the Jordan, to Sihon and Og, whom you utterly destroyed. As soon as we heard it, our hearts melted, and there was no courage left in any of us because of you. The Lord your God is indeed God in heaven above and on earth below. Now then, since I have dealt kindly with you, swear to me by the Lord that you, in turn, will deal kindly with my family. Give me a sign of good faith that you will spare my father and mother, my brothers and sisters, and all who belong to them, and deliver our lives from death." The men said to her, "Our life for yours. If you do not tell this business of ours, then we will deal kindly and faithfully with you when the Lord gives us the land." Verse 15, "Then she let them down by a rope through the window, for her house was on the outer side of the city wall, and she resided within the wall itself. She said to them, 'Go toward the hill country, so that the pursuers may not come upon you. Hide yourselves there 3 days, until the pursuers have returned. Then afterward you may go your way.' The men said to her, 'We will be released from this oath that you have made us swear to you, if we invade the land, and you do not tie this crimson cord in the window through which you let us down, and you do not gather into your house your father and mother, your brothers, and all your family. If any of you go out of the doors of your house into the street, they shall be responsible for their own death, and we shall be innocent. But if a hand is laid upon any who are with you in the house, we shall bear the responsibility for their death. But if you tell this business of ours, then we shall be released from this oath that you made us swear to you.' She said, 'According to your words, so be it.' She sent them away, and they departed. Then she tied the crimson cord in the window." So whoever Rahab is, whether she's just an innkeeper or a prostitute or an opportunist. Whoever she is, she welcomes these two men. She hides them from the king of Jericho. She helps them get through the window. And in exchange, she says, when you guys all attack, will you take care of my family? So her father and mother, her brothers and sisters, all of their people, anybody who is of her family can survive the coming attack. Verse 22, they departed and went into the hill country and stayed there 3 days until the pursuers returned. The pursuers had searched all along the way and found nothing. When the two men came down again from the hill country, they crossed over, came to Joshua son of Nun, and told him all that had happened to them. They said to Joshua, truly the Lord has given all the land into our hands. Moreover, the inhabitants of the land melt in fear before us. I wasn't going to do 3, but I'm going to do chapter 3. Early in the morning, Joshua rose and set out from Shittim with all the Israelites, and they came to the Jordan. They camped there before crossing over. At the end of 3 days, the officers went through the camp and commanded the people, when you see the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God being carried by the Levitical priests, then you shall set out from your place. Follow it, so that you may know the way that you should go, for you have not passed this way before. Yet there shall be a space between you and it, a distance of about 2,000 cubits. Do not come any nearer to it. Then Joshua said to the people, sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do wonders among you. To the priests, Joshua said, take up the ark of the covenant and pass on in front of the people. So they took up the ark of the covenant and went in front of the people. Verse 7, the Lord said to Joshua, this day I will begin to exalt you in the sight of all Israel, so that they may know that I will be with you as I was with Moses. You are the one who shall command the priests who bear the ark of the covenant. When you come to the edge of the waters of the Jordan, you shall stand still in the Jordan. Joshua then said to the Israelites, draw near and hear the words of the Lord your God. Joshua said, by this you shall know that among you is the living God, who without fail will drive out from before you the Canaanites, Hittites, Hivites, Perizzites, Girgashites, Amorites, and Jebusites. The ark of the covenant of the Lord of all the earth is going to pass before you into the Jordan. So now select 12 men from the tribes of Israel, one from each tribe. When the soles of the feet of the priests who bear the ark of the Lord of all the earth, rest in the waters of the waters of the Jordan flowing from above shall be cut off. They shall stand in a single heap. Verse 14, when the people set out from their tents to cross over the Jordan, the priests bearing the ark of the covenant were in front of the people. Now the Jordan overflows all its banks throughout the time of harvest. So when those who bore the ark had come to the Jordan, and the feet of the priests bearing the ark were dipped in the edge of the waters flowing from above stood still, rising up in a single heap far off at Adam, the city that is beside Zarethan, while those flowing toward the sea of the Arabah, the Dead Sea, were wholly cut off. Then the people crossed over opposite Jericho. While all Israel were crossing over on dry ground, the priests who bore the ark of the covenant of the Lord stood on dry ground in the middle of the Jordan until the entire nation finished crossing over the Jordan. So Moses parted the Red Sea, and everybody passed through on dry land. And now with Joshua and the priests, when the ark of the covenant arrived, the river was held back like with a giant hand and piled up river, and everybody was able to cross over on dry land. And the priests stand in the middle, and I think they're going to tomorrow put a marker in remembrance of that. So we are at the beginning, Joshua, with some spies talking to Rahab, and with crossing through the Jordan on dry land. And now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord look at you with favor and give you peace. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Go in peace. Thanks so much for being with us. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you again tomorrow.